What's up, people? Back with more Resident Evil 2. And, yeah, as of last part, we're now inside the Nest, the underground umbrella headquarters. And, yeah, we made our way through the entrance, and predominantly we had to do a little bit of gardening in the east area in order to get more entry chips for the electric wristband that I'm wearing, that Leon's now wearing, courtesy of Ada. And at the end of it, a certain 10-foot tall pale giant who sticks worse than a bad odor returned. Oh god, frickin' Mr. X. And this guy is worse than the most foul of odor. He never he keeps coming back. But so yeah, I'm right back here, and now I have access to the west area. But there's still one more security code left, level 4, that I need to go down the main shaft, and also to access the senior staff PC. And Lord knows what'll happen with Mr. X prowling around, cause Lord knows what's gonna happen now. He's around here. I can't believe I actually ditched him back in the East Wing. It wasn't even that complex of an area of where I left him. And that puts a lot of pressure on me now, because I don't know how he's going to be following me. And I'm so ready to kill him at this point. Oh my god. I want him dead. I want him freaking dead, and I want his creators burned to the ground.
Hopefully the G sample's up here.
Yeah, hopefully the way Kill Mr. X is in there. And of course well, there's another soldier. Lab digital video cassette. Well, there better be a tape player in there somewhere. Night Wrecker 1. Because I ain't going back to the sewers. I highly doubt we even can go back to the sewers. Probably not. Aha. OSS. Power restored. There's the tape player. Birkin.
Got eyes on the G-Virus.
We're going in.
Dr. Birkin, you'll come along with us quietly.
You
think I didn't know you were coming? This is my life's work. I'm not handing over anything.
We have our orders, Dr. Birkin. I'll ask you one more time. Stop! Hold your fire! What the fuck were you thinking? Our orders were to bring him in alive.
Well, Martinez fucked up.
We're in, sir. But we had a snafu. Target resisted. We had to take him out. That's correct, sir. Roger that. Just the samples, then. Let's move.
Damn it, Martinez.
So those were G samples.
Damn it, Martinez. Thanks to you for shooting Birkin and fucking up. We got a freaking zombie apocalypse in Raccoon. It's all your fault, damn it. You're gonna be court-martialed. Oh, what the hell, he's dead anyway. He was likely one of the bodies we saw out there. William Birkin's inbox. Sender Jane Doyle. Subject suspending research on G. So there was the T, and then there was the G. The Umbrella Corporation has decided to cease all research on G, which was ongoing at the Nest Underground Laboratory. All funding for this project has been cut, and Laboratory Director William Birkin has been removed from his post. Sender BE. Subject none. Thank you for your email, Dr. Birkin. Top Brass has expressed an interest in this evolving bioweapon you mentioned. Do not worry about costs. Our company is the most well-funded in the whole of the United States. Sender Richard Kessler. Subject, congratulations. I heard the good news. G is almost ready. Strange you never thought to report to the research lab here at Umbrella HQ, but I suppose I can let that slide. Anyway, send over the data, would you? And don't worry, you've done good work on G, but we can take care of the rest. Jane Doyle, notice of admonishment. You are under suspicion of breaching your contract with the Umbrella Corporation. It has become clear that you have claimed ownership of the G project and have been in unauthorized contact with the U.S. military. Please respond to the investigation committee summons within 24 hours. If I also recall correctly, Birkin is also a close associate of Albert Wesker. Long time baddie. Oh, we don't need this anymore, apparently. Yeah, I remember watching the playthrough of the Dark Side of the Umbrella Chronicles, which was basically the series take on the House of the Dead rail shooter, which is kind of fitting for this series. And also, I think there was also in the Resident Evil remake for the GameCube, which was of course re-released on the PS4, there was like more further content in that too, and other stuff that happened. X-ray machine, MRI. Looks like surgical tools. Yep, this door got busted. How much you want to bet it was Birkin? Fuck you, Umbrella. Fuck you, Wesker. Fuck you, Birkin. And fuck you too, Martinez, for botching it all up. To hell with all of you. It's all your fault. Of course, that also falls under the Mr. Spencer and his pallies that also formed Umbrella years and years before this. So they're all to blame. Uh-oh. I'm not sure if I want to store this. I'm also doubly not sure if I want to take the frickin' Magnum with me. I hate not knowing. I missed the suitcase from Resident Evil 4. Had more inventory space. I also miss how the inventory was reserved for ammo and supplies and weapons, while you had a separate inventory for key items. You didn't have to bother trying to fit all that stuff in the main inventory. I honestly liked that. But no, they put it back to basics, more or less, where you have to fit everything at once. This complex is massive. Bioreactor room. There was no typewriter back there. I don't like this. It's way too quiet. Okay, then. If this isn't ominous, I don't know what is. G-virus samples. What is it with the G-virus and frickin' eyes? Hell, what is it with Japan and eyes? Seriously. Birkin's lab. Annette, William, and the girl. That is Sherry, right? I believe that was her name. Oh, even had a fish tank. With no fish inside. What the hell? Research Diary. Embryo growth observation. Subject 449. After the G embryo was implanted in the subject, we made a 50-centimeter incision from the chest to the abdomen and began our observations. With the help of the medical team, the subject's consciousness level was kept between 15 lucid GCS 10. However, the subject's consciousness level deteriorated, and further observation was deemed unnecessary. The subject was then disposed of. Breeding rate observations. Subject 501. The G virus was administered to Subject 501. 501 mutated into G form and was introduced to a group of 30 test subjects. After 2 hours, 36 minutes, it was observed that all but one of the test subjects had been implanted with an embryo. All subjects were disposed of. One subject broke down during experimentation and took their own life. T-virus resistance experimentation. Subjects 628, 628,639. Did he go through that many people, or is it, no, wait a minute, there's a space in between. No, wait, yeah, it's different. Subjects, plural. My grammar sucks tonight. Subjects 628 and 639. We administered the G virus to subject 628, who had shown slight resistance to the T virus. The virus was then introduced to subject 639, with whom 628 had close relationship. 628 showed some signs of resistance, but had been implanted with an embryo after 24 minutes. T-virus resistance does nothing to stop the mental deterioration caused by the G-virus. Okay. So, William Birkin is not only turning into a monster, but he's losing all of his sanity. Hell, when we ran into him the first time, he was moaning, "Help me." But when we ran into him again, he no longer was. So, he's gone all complete monster at this point. Sample.
Huh. That was easy.
Don't break it.
Alright, now back to Ada.
Just don't break it.
Attention. Unauthorized removal of a level 4 virus detected. Facility lockdown initiated. Self-destruct sequence will begin when lockdown is complete.
Are you kidding me?
Attention. Unauthorized removal of a level 4 virus detected. Facility lockdown initiated. Self-destruct.
Oh no.
He's mine. This has to end.
What the hell's going on?
Sorry, William. You left me no choice.
You called this thing William. Why?
It shouldn't have been like this. It's Umbrella's fault, this whole mess.
You're Umbrella too. You're telling me you weren't involved in this?
Yes. But we never meant for this to happen.
Well, you work with the devil,
Tell me everything. Right from the start.
you get what your desserts. You get your due.
You don't get away that easily.
He injected himself, the fool.
Good God, William. What have you done?
So you made this monster.
We made the G-virus, but we never intended
You can
this
spin it any way you want.
Uh-oh.
You're still responsible.
Gotta shoot his eyes.
When lockdown is complete. Attention, unauthorized removal of a level 4 virus detected. Facility lockdown initiated. Self-destruct sequence will begin when lockdown is complete. Attention, unauthorized removal of a level 4 virus detected. Facility lockdown initiated. Self-destruct sequence. Class A breach detected. Last quarantine until target is neutralized.
What's he doing? Oh no.
Self-destruct sequence will begin when lockdown is complete. Target has been neutralized. Ending quarantine. Unauthorized removal. A level 4 virus detected. Facility lockdown.
That was intense.
Self-destruct sequence will begin when lockdown is complete. Attention. Unauthorized removal of a level 4 virus. Service lift is now operational. Initiated. Self-destruct sequence will begin when lockdown is complete.
That was an intense fight.
Facility lockdown initiated. Self-destruct sequence will begin when lockdown is complete. Attention, unauthorized removal of a level 4 virus detected. Facility lockdown initiated. Self-destruct sequence will begin when lockdown is complete. Attention, unauthorized removal of a level 4 virus detected. Facility lockdown initiated.
Jesus. That looks bad.
Feels worse. Believe me.
Talk about what you said. I don't know how much I believe.
Just tell me you'll destroy that G sample.
No, it's evidence. It's going to the FBI.
Ada's not
Trust
FBI.
that bitch.
What's that supposed to mean?
She's not FBI. She's a mercenary.
I knew
She's
it.
gonna sell it. The G-virus is gonna go to the highest bidder.
Bullshit.
I hope you're right. But if the G-virus gets into the wrong hands,
Then it's oh, then the world is fucked.
Attention, unauthorized removal of
Fudge.
level 4 virus detected.
Well, we took care of Birkin.
Lockdown initiated.
He's down there. That was cool. Good fight. I liked it.
Is complete. Attention, unauthorized removal
Almost
of
out of
level 4
magnums.
virus detected.
But I have a lot of pistols.
Self-destruct sequence will begin when lockdown is complete. Attention, unauthorized removal. Attention, self-destruct sequence initiated. Use the central elevator to evacuate immediately to the bottom level train platform.
Wait a minute. I don't have a level 4.
Attention, self-destruct sequence initiated. Use the central elevator to evacuate immediately to the bottom level train platform.
She didn't have it. I have level 3. I never got level 4. I might not be able to access it.
Attention, self-destruct sequence
Maybe it's for Claire and I can't do it as Leon.
to evacuate immediately to the bottom level train platform. Attention, self-destruct sequence initiated. Use the central elevator to evacuate immediately to the bottom level train platform. Attention, self-destruct sequence initiated.
This place is falling apart.
I was just thinking about you.
That makes 2 of us. I was getting worried.
Yeah, 2 giant monsters on my
We make
ass.
a good team. I gotta ask you something.
Way's clear. Please, tell me you got it.
Oh, I got it.
Let me verify the G sample and we get the hell out of here.
Before we do that, I ran into Annette. She claims you're not FBI.
Oh, Leon. Why couldn't you just hand over the sample?
As I realized, as much as I wanted to trust you, I didn't.
I really hoped it wouldn't end up like this.
So that's all this was. I was just some pawn to you,
Look, I'm just doing my job.
and I'm doing mine, so drop that damn gun! I'm taking you in.
Hand over the sample, Leon. I don't want to hurt you.
you shoot me. But I don't think you can.
Probably not a good time. Uh-oh. Still kicking.
No one gets that sample now.
Hold on. I think I can...
Forget it.
Shut up, I've got you.
It's not worth it.
Don't do this.
Take care of yourself, Leon.
No!
She survives. We all know she manages to survive. It's a because she appears again in Resident Evil 4. But still, it is tragic. So now we gotta get the hell out of here. She probably had like a grapple hook or something. Because what other ways could she have escaped? Reactors are going haywire.
Who's that?
Claire.
Claire!
Leon? You're down here too!
Yeah, but the whole place is coming down. Listen to me. You need to get out. Fast.
Yeah. There's a way out. We can make it. Where are you now?
Claire, are you still there?
Leon? Hey, Leon, you're breaking up.
Forget about me. Just get out of here. Damn it.
9 minutes until detonation.
Yeesh. Oh no, Mr. X.
Is this a fucking joke?
Yes, it is. A very bad joke. Oh, crap.
Gotta keep going.
Self-destruct sequence initiated. Use the simple elevator to evacuate immediately to the bottom level train platform.
Joint plug.
Attention.
Oh, crap.
Self-destruct sequence initiated. Use the
I gotta get rid of something. A lot of somethings.
simple elevator to evacuate immediately to the bottom level train platform. Attention. Self-destruct sequence.
Here he comes. Uh-oh. He doesn't have his coat. He's gonna go nuts. Equip.
What is it with this thing?
Shit. Rocket launcher. Ada. I told y'all she lived.
Where did this thing come from?
And fuck you too. And good riddance.
You have arrived at the bottom level.
Jesus.
Man, fuck you too. I can't believe I did that. Get out. And we made it. I've been wanting to use that line from The Thing forever. Hey.
Can't believe I actually miss her.
Dude, shack up with Claire. She's better for you.
Leon?
Hey,
You look like
we
shit.
made it.
Just like I said we would.
And that is the Leon half of the story. Well, one half of it. One half of an entire of 1/4 of the other quarter of the game. I've been wanting to use that line from The Thing for so long, and I finally got to do it. And I kind of blurted it out a second time, but seriously, got the rocket launcher and just, he roared, and I'm like, yeah, fuck you too. I love it. I love it. Oh my god. Well, that is part of Resident Evil 2. And if I recall correctly, that is not even the full ending. There's still another part to the game. And we saw right there, we saw Claire, along with what I assume is Sherry Birkin. So we still have her side of the story to do. So that just leaves first impressions at the moment. First impressions, oh my god, this game is awesome. It is hard, but awesome. I really liked it. Now, I never did play the original version of Resident Evil 2 back on the PS1, since, for one, I didn't have a PS1, and I could have sworn there was an N64 version, but I never had that either. So from what I remember, there were some things that that were both added to yet left out from the original version. And as for what I remember being left out, I think there was two other bosses. One of them was a giant moth. I don't know if there was anything else. So maybe it was just one other thing. I don't know. And I could have sworn there was a much more legit boss fight with the alligator. But beyond that, it brings everything else, like Mr. X chasing you throughout the entire game, depending on who you play as, in this case, Leon. So far, what have I liked? Especially with regards to the Leon playthrough. Well, to start with, the graphics and atmosphere in this remake of Resident Evil 2 are amazing. Amazing to the point of terrifying, and there is a huge overprevalence of dread throughout the entire game. Like I started off being, okay, I see what they're going with, and as the game went on, I became more and more uncomfortable. And that was a good thing. They really nailed the tone of the atmosphere of the game, to the point that I go from thinking, okay, I think I know what I'm doing. Oh, here's the weapon. I can now stand a chance now. Nope. They throw a monkey wrench into the formula, which locks me off my toes. From the lickers to the zombies that are far tougher than your average, punching bags in most games, to the point that I had to really think of how I'm, gonna handle them. And it's great for that. And I'm surprised I even managed as well as I did, because I had heard a lot of other streamers from what I heard, and from Micah Curtis's review of the game, which was thankfully, for the most part, spoiler-free. Follow him. He's also great on YouTube. I recommend him. They made it where you had to be very conservative more than ever. And apparently other gamers who were streaming the game had ran into the trouble of rationing their equipment. And I'm surprised I even managed to do that. It mostly came down to trying to aim for a certain spot of the head or body part that slows them down or grants you a greater chance of critical hits, and using the right weapon for the right area. Like, I used the mag only when I needed to, as a get out of jail card when I was getting chased, and I needed an instant kill means of getting them out of the way so I can move much more freely. And then, of course, the flamethrower, which had its moment to shine for the second fight with Birkin, and of course the various plant monsters throughout the biolab. So you definitely have to choose which weapon works best for which area, depending on the availability of ammo as well as who's weak against what. And I also and speaking of patterns, I also really like the puzzles in the game. I was a little bit daunted at first because I've seen playthroughs of both the remake of Resident Evil 1, because I consider that the superior version of the two. Of the two first ones. And then, of course, I saw playthroughs of 3, 4, and Code Veronica, which is probably the worst of the bunch in regards to puzzle solving. And I was a little bit daunted, because the only other Resident Evil style game I played before this was Dino Crisis. And Dino Crisis had a very daunting environment where I constantly had to look up where I was going just so I wouldn't get lost. But thankfully I think I did pretty well with trying to piece together most things. I think the only thing I really ever did look up the solution to was the picture location where that radio in the press room was, because I didn't want to run around the game being, okay, nope, not there, not there, not there, and running into monsters all night. So I know that for reference. I definitely did not comb all of the game. There's still not just the Claire playthrough part of the game, but the fact that she also has access to areas that I didn't before. Uh-oh. Yup, we're not done yet. There's still another part. In other words, the Claire playthrough. A hero emerges. C rank. Come on. Is it because I saved and too many times and played for almost 12 hours? They really want you to be fast in this game and not save as much. Well, fuck that. I will save as many times as I want. So yeah, it's like Devil May Cry has its style points. This has its survival, how fast, speed, and save points. Me personally, I don't care. I'm just glad that I got out of there. So yeah, I like the puzzles. A lot of them are pretty clever. Although a lot of the pieces are a bit spread out, so you end up having to go through a lot of places in order to know where and have to keep track of where you're going. Thankfully, the map is good with that. And the game, thankfully, has an objective update, so the game reminds you what to do, and you can bring it up so that way you remember. Not to mention all the other side puzzles and crannies that are and nooks and crannies that are scattered throughout the game. I kept going back through many parts of the game several times just to make sure I got everything. And yeah, the shooting is great. I'm a little about miffed about the crosshairs. I personally would have preferred if every weapon had a laser sight or red dot, because I found the crosshairs to be kind of an immersion breaker, because in Resident Evil 4 and 5 you had that. I thought it was accurate, but you still had to be careful, especially to make sure you hit, especially since, if I recall correctly, the dot kind of moved, because the character would be moving due to lack of stability with the gun. And I felt it was good but minimalist at the same time. Whereas I felt the crosshairs kind of add an unnecessary amount of, reminder that you're playing a game. Especially since the only other way you know how your feet doing, especially with health, is if you either pause and look at your health bar, or see the character's posture. And I like how it is a good mix of the playstyles of previous games and others that took the formula and updated it. For example, Resident Evil 4 provided the foundation for third-person over-the-shoulder shooting in ways that had not been done before in previous games, which of course gave birth to games like Vanquish, Gears of War, and Dead Space. And Dead Space, of course, took the base formula of Resident Evil 4 and expanded on it, walking while shooting, running, frickin' curb stomping, and all that. And of course, accessing different weapons on the fly. So the walking while shooting, that is something that Dead Space, revolutionized for the horror, for the third person horror genre, as well as that weapon thing. So you don't have to go to a pause screen every time. Other action games like Gears of War basically took what Resident Evil 2 did it to an extent, where it took what Resident Evil 4 had, but made it more of an action game, which Resident Evil 6 then tried to copy and failed miserably, with being able to choose whatever weapon you wanted, and they definitely had that. And you have a nice variety, and from what I've read, the weapons are different per character. Leon has the shotgun, and the flamethrower and the Desert Eagle, whereas I look at the screenshot for on the back of the box, and there's Claire with not a shotgun but a grenade launcher. So yeah, their weapon choice is definitely going to be different, and I look forward to seeing how different. And the enemies themselves are horrifying. The zombies are definitely no joke. The lickers are terrifying. Like, they appear early in the game, and for a good chunk they're not there until eventually the lab. And they pounced me, so they're definitely scary. The plant monsters are definitely creepy, and of course, we can't talk about this, giving a first impression, without mentioning Mr. X. Mr. X is quite possibly the most terrifying thing I've ever had the displeasure of encountering in a horror game. I'm sorry I keep bringing it up, but he's the Terminator. He does not stop until I am dead, and he won't leave me alone when he shows up. And I have to get creative with how to lose him, from either running around or, if need be, depending on the situation, stun him and either shoot him in the head multiple times until he's out of bounds for a minute, so that way I can do what I need to do. And I had to do that with the stairway puzzle, because he just would not stop, and it was risky. And of course you had the fight with Birkin and all that, and which is clearly not over. We need to play the B path in order to do the full story. And yeah, the Tyrant is terrifying. It really is. And the graphics in this game are great. The sense of dread is great. I also like Leon's character a lot, and I did think it started to get a little bit annoying by the end, but I like all the quips that he has, especially from early on. And then eventually, as the game goes on, he's like, oh my god, why do I have to put up with this shit? First day on the job, after all. Before we do anything else, new game's second run has been unlocked. Select it under story from the main menu. The ending and certain parts of the game are different in the second run scenarios. So that's what I'm going to do for the Claire playthrough. I'm going to do that. And then, depending on how I feel and when I want to do it, I might do the other two, do the scenarios again, but with the characters in reverse, to see the differences. So what do? Solve the goddess puzzle, complete Ada. Oh, Sherry, so there's still stuff I haven't done yet. That I have to. Oh, I got the alternative costumes. Second story mode, completely on story. A hero emerges and a heroine emerges. Broken umbrella. Increase inventory slots. Customized weapon. Defeat an enemy with a knife. I never did that. I primarily kept it as a defense weapon, since they break in this game, whereas Resident Evil 4 they didn't. But yeah, they definitely went back to the old school Resident Evil 4 formula, while, combining what worked in games like Dead Space, where you have the on-the-fly weapon choosing, as well as walking or running. I mentioned that. What I was glad to see was that while your inventory is, of course, limited, you can still update it from upgrades throughout the game, weapons included. You can update them. I loved that. That was something that I liked about Resident Evil 4. It was a sense of reward for working my way through. Like, you start that game, you're weak as hell, your health is at bare minimum, your inventory's at bare minimum, you're pretty much running for your life throughout that game, and you have to be very careful. And as the game went on and I found more upgrades to my health and my inventory, I could pack in more and just become a walking arsenal by the end. You have a sense of conquering accomplishment for what you did. And, like, you conquered the horror. You felt good, right? You went through all that suffering, and eventually it just, you felt like like you had conquered the terrors and can give yourself a pat on the back. This has a very similar feel. You can't upgrade the health like in 4. I kind of wish I could. But you can still concoct various, ammos and health potions throughout the game, which help you relegate the situation. And being able to hold more ammunition by the end and stuff by the end from upgrading it definitely was a nice thing to have done. Chemical flamethrower, the mag. Never did this one. I did this at the end. I never destroyed the arms and leg. I never intentionally went for the legs and arms. When it comes to most zombie games involving zombies, and hell, even just games in general, it's always go for the head. Really, the only times I ever did go for that were for everything else was Dead Space, and Dead Space took the whole, took the stereotype of not aiming for anything but the head and twisted it around, which made it awesome. Shooting only its bulbs. Oh yeah, the pulsating orange bulb things. I never did that. Don't know what this one is. Super Tyrant. Yeah, apparently, from what I remember, in the original version of Resident Evil 2, you dunk Mr. X in a vat of molten steel and his coat melts off. But they didn't do that. They trimmed a lot of the fluff from the old game into this. Normally I'd be like, is that a good idea, trimming a lot of extra stuff? But in this case it works, because the game is still lengthy enough and feels good enough where it's like, okay, really the only thing I would have liked to have more was more of a boss fight with the alligator. That's really the only thing I have. But yeah, they have the whole fight with the tyrant. His inhibitor coat gets burnt off, and well, he starts turning into the classic RE1 tyrant as a result. Open the jail's electric cell door in 13 moves. Yeah, I never did that. I failed that either. That too. Obtained all the weapons in Leon's story. There was another weapon? What? Huh. Wait a minute. Are they referring to... Don't they mean... Wait a minute. Let me think. Matilda. Lightning Hawk. The shotgun. Flamethrower. And... What was it? The rocket launcher? So what's the 6th one? I don't know. Maybe it's for the second run, aka Path B, Develop all rolls of film, so there's 2 more. Either I missed or I can't get yet unless I play as Claire. There's still more Mr. Raccoons. Hardcore game mode. Complete the game within 4 hours without using a recurring item. Not possible. I'm not that good at the game yet to do that. Without opening the item box. Oh, come on. Someone in Capcom is on drugs to come up with something like this. 14,000 steps or low or fewer without opening the box, without using a recovery item. Yeah, that is not possible. Not possible. Ugh. Let's take a look at the models, shall we? So, I saw that picture. Apparently, even with the modded, the alternate outfits, their clothes do change. So, that's cool. It's not just, you know, they can do some story stuff happens and I can be like, okay, I see. There's different. It's not just the same stuff they're wearing. And be, you know, it's and nothing seems to change at all, so stuff does get affected. I like that. It's attention to detail that to such a degree that honestly makes me happy. Don't know what weapon that is. Spoiler alert, I suppose. Poor Marvin. Poor Marvin. He was a hero, that guy. He deserved better. Liquor. This thing looks like freaking Carnage from Spider-Man. Only uglier. Ugh. I wonder if that was a direct inspiration. I'm surprised we didn't see the Doberman zombie dogs as much as we did. We only saw them in the parking garage and kennels. We never saw them again. The G creature. Is there a model of the alligator? I'd like to see the model of the alligator. Birkin. All fucked up. Seriously, man, you fucked up when you injected that virus into yourself. Hell, you and your wife fucked up by joining Umbrella. You make a deal with the devil, and you get your dues. What do you think's gonna happen? Huh. Revolver, so we're getting... So yeah, there's alternate weapons for the Claire side. Lightning Hawk became very useful later in the game. Chemical Flamethrower as well. I don't know if I think I'm leaning more towards using the classic costume for Claire in the next playthrough. Because, come on, that biker outfit, it looks cute on her, plus it's sexy. and then maybe I'll use the default costume on the Path A version. I don't know. Either way works, right? So depends on my mood. So, yeah, that is the Path A Leon part of Resident Evil 2. I'm going to tomorrow start the story again on the second run. This time as Claire with the second, and see how it differs there. And I was thinking it over. I'm not. Well, I am kind of gonna do it, but kind of not at the same time. I'm going to have it start over as Resident Evil 2 parentheses Claire Redfield and part 1, and then have it start at part 1. But the more I think about it, I'm not sure if I want to have it be considered its own separate playthrough, or just put it in the same play or put it in the same play and put. How should I say it? I'm not sure whether I should count that as its own playthrough on a separate playlist on YouTube, or just put it into the playlist along with the Leon parts. Come to think of it, I probably should have. I don't know if I wonder if I should have done that with Nier Automata as well. I don't know, honestly. I need to think it over. So, whatever happens, happens. Either way, I'm very pleased with the Resident Evil 2 remake. First time playing the game in general. I love the gameplay. It's dreadful, and yet that's what makes it awesome at the same time. And I can't wait to play the other side of the story as Claire and what happens with her, because, clearly we saw, Sherry right there. And see what happens. That is another thing I would have liked to see more of. I personally would like to have seen more interaction between Leon and Claire. I think that's something that I personally think is missing, both here and in the original version. I would have liked to have seen more interaction. Yeah, Resident Evil 1 had a similar thing where you picked one character and you wouldn't see the other one for a million years, but I don't know. I just would have liked to have seen more. You know what I mean? Like, every now and then they would end up in an area and be like, okay, here's what I'm doing, here's what you're doing, and work your way from there. I don't know. Whichever works, right? But what's there is there, and I like it for the most part. So I'm borderline loving the game. Hell, I might as well go ahead, beat to the punch and say I do love the game. Just a few things I would have liked to have seen done better, but other than that, great atmosphere, great gameplay, great monster design, and I'll can't wait to see more of it on the next part of the game when I go to play Lady Redfield and see what she goes through. So that's it for Leon on this half, and I'll be back later with the Claire half. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough so far. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, and all that fun stuff if you liked my me getting my my soul scared to death and running the hell away like a scared chicken. And I'll see y'all later. Peace out.